Good evening. I'd like to open up the public forum session of the Town Council meeting of Monday, January 14th, 2019. I'm Ken Poisson, 6th District Councilman and Town Council Pro Tem. Council Chairman Jim Connor is home very sick this evening. He's been sick for over a week. When I call your name, please state your name and address for the record. And as always, there's a 3-minute time limit. Our first speaker is, and if I pronounce your name wrong, I'm very sorry. Our first speaker is Joel Lenna.
The pronunciation is correct. Thank you very much, and welcome all of you. Let's see, the mayor's not here, and neither Jim, but welcome members of the Town Council. My name is Joel Lenna. I've operated a business in the town of Stratford since 1986.
Joel, can you just speak into the mic? I'm sorry.
Sure.
You could raise that up if you need to. There you go. Thank you.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. My name is Joel Lenna, and I've operated a design business in the town of Stratford since 1986. My business is located at 919 Stratford Avenue, Stratford, Connecticut, and is one of 11 office units that comprise the Ransom's Walk Association. Since 1986, the association has been billed and paying a sewer use bill based upon the amount of hundreds of cubic feet of water consumed every 6 months as metered now by the Aquarian Water Company. In August of 2008, with no explanation, some unit owners received individual sewer use bills in various totals, while others received no bill. As secretary of the association, I inquired with the tax assessor's office as to whom was responsible for the issuing and the methodology for calculating these bills, why business owners were now being billed individually, and why some unit owners received no bill. To this date, I have not received an answer to any of these questions that are substantiated with the town policy, rules, ordinances, or Connecticut state statutes. After reviewing the Town of Stratford Code Sewer Ordinance, Part 3, Sewer Use, Article 10, Implementation of User Charge, Section 172-87, Calculation of Charges, Letter D, I quote from your ordinance, all users shall be charged on the basis of the volume of their total wastewater contributions. We are appealing these bills, and here is why. In 2017, the association's yearly sewer use bill was $1,625.82, which covered all 11 units. The new individual unit billing approach projects the annual association sewer cost to be $4,356 for an increase of $2,730.18 for approximately the same water usage as metered by the water company. This proposal total is based upon 11 units being billed $198 biannually. Where did the biannual amount come from? We cannot get an answer. The association filed a letter of appeal on August 29th, 2018 for an explanation of this increase in the methodology in which the bill was calculated. The tax assessor was unable to provide the information. Since then, I've been in contact with Tom Hyde, WPCA Director, who has been working with us on this issue. We have filed an additional letter of appeal on Monday, January 7th, 2019, since some unit owners received yet another set of bills on or about January 3rd, 2019. As of January 8th, we have not received any confirmation from our appeal in writing, nor has the mayor's office or the tax assessor office responded to our calls. On Wednesday, January 9th, 2019, I received a call by Chris Timbiak, CAO, Town of Stratford, with a verbal notice of an appeal hearing date of Monday, January 28th in Town Council chambers at 7:30 p.m. Regardless of the outcome of this appeals hearing, we urge the Stratford Town Council to establish a communication plan and appeals procedure for sewer use tax bills to include the following. 1. When sending a sewer tax bill, a cover letter accompanying each owner's bill explaining the methodology and calculating the amount. 2. The letter include the notice of any town-wide audits, town sewer ordinances, amendments, regional WPCA or state of Connecticut regulation changes that would affect the tax amount. Number 3, include the right to appeal procedure along with a proposed timeline and location as to when the appeal may be heard as per the Town of Stratford sewer ordinance. 4, Once a taxpayer has filed an appeal, a written response from the applicable agency or committee be sent to the applicant within 5 working days of receiving the appeal, acknowledging the appeal has been received along with any instructions as to the appeal date or requirements. And lastly, after the appeals hearing, a written response be sent to the applicant as to the board's decision, providing next steps to remedy the situation if required, along with agreed timeline to complete the request. In addition, we ask the Human Resources Department require persons involved with assessing and billing of taxes attend continuing education classes so that they may be knowledgeable in answering questions from the public regarding the WPCA tax and the invoicing procedures. And lastly, anger management classes for the town employees, aiding them in respectfully communicating and working with the public. We hope you'll take these suggestions under consideration. Best regards, Joel Lenniker, Secretary, Ransom's Walk Condominium Association. I do have 11 copies of what I just read to you so that you all will have your own copy. I presume the procedure is what, to hand it to someone to my right or my left, and you'll pass that on? And thank you very much for your attention. Much appreciated.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Dave Fuller.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilman Poison. Ladies and gentlemen of the Town Council, members of the public, I am Dave Fuller, 48 Sunnybank Avenue in the 6th District. I speak to you as a citizen, but full disclosure, I'm also chairman of the Stratford Historic District Commission. First, I want to give my thanks to the Stratford Fire Department and first responders. We all know what happened Saturday night. What they did saved lives. What they did also saved other properties, and I think it's important to give respect and appreciation to the sacrifices our first responders first make, and also to provide some perspective before I go into my main point. The biggest tragedy that happened in Stratford this week was not the theater. It was the loss of life on Regency Terrace. And I just wanted to put that out to my condolences to the family, and hopefully justice is brought to that family on Regency Terrace. I'm speaking tonight in terms of what happened Saturday night. We all know what happened, the huge, tremendous fire that took the theater. I just wanted to reach out to the community and to the town council is that in every tragedy, there is a blank canvas for opportunity to build anew, to restore, to move forward. And not be afraid to use the Historic District Commission, the Arts Commission, private nonprofits, and the community itself. There's an opportunity before us to unite as a community to figure out what we want to do next. And I think it would be important for the town council, mayor's office, boards like the Historic District Commission, Arts Commission, to engage the public to find out what it really wants. And not to make this a political football, but to really make this something that a community could be proud of. It's not the first time a historical site was lost. I just came home from Japan. World War II devastated that country, and they lost castles and temples that were built in the 14th century. They doubled down. They recreated and restored those properties because there was the will to do so. So that's my point tonight. The community must unite, must stand up, and really figure out what it wants to do here, because we could turn this tragedy into a positive, into a bright future. And with that said, I thank you for your service and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Barbara Heimlich.
Good evening. Barbara Heimlich, 91 College Street. During today's news conference on the Shakespeare Theater fire, my major takeaway from what was an extremely well-organized and informational event was a concerned voice by a bordering resident about the neighborhood's notification of the fire. I have never thought much or questioned our town-wide notification system for emergencies. I thought in an emergency, a robocall goes out notifying us what is going on. From what I heard today during the news conference, homeowners surrounding the Shakespeare Theater property were not notified of the fire. One resident claiming she didn't even hear fire sirens. They were not notified of water turnoff and power issues. In a video, by the way, in a video posted on social media, there clearly were fire sirens. However, that said, my question is, How does our emergency system work? Is it able to call surrounding residences that could have been and were impacted by the fire to notify them? Or is the system, once activated, only able to notify all residents? Public safety is not always a townwide event. Are we able to segment notifications to targeted areas? Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Mitzi and Tezo. Hey, our next speaker is Robert Weiss.
Thank you. I have lived in Stratford for almost 30 years, graduated Stratford High, the class of 2006, proudly.
Robert, excuse me, just state your address for the record.
671 Sedgwick Avenue.
Thank you.
And I've always, throughout my life, been a great connoisseur of the arts. I'm in a local rock band called Grolix, and I've acted in numerous plays since 1997, initially under the direction of Mr. Bruce Hirsch, proudly. The arts has been a great endearment to this town, and in particular, the Shakespeare Theater. Throughout the years, I have seen many productions and plays on the grounds of the theater by talented actors and actresses, wonderful productions, and to see all the people from the town come together, despite any differences they might have politically or socially, to enjoy these works, to enjoy the beauty of the art and the performance. It's truly what unites this town. And the Shakespeare Theater, such a historic building with a monumental history and countless actors and actresses over the years that have performed there, deserves a better legacy than to be left aside or to be sold for a property that would not benefit the arts and to benefit the growth of talent that this town could hold. And I would just like to say that I would love to see the theater rebuilt, and if unfortunately that cannot be done, I would love to see the land remain the theater grounds and for something to go there that would benefit the town, benefit the arts, and would help put our name back on the map and maybe even open a second chapter to our town. The theater meant a lot to me, and I'm sure for a lot of people here it meant a lot to them. And I thank you again for your time.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Kevin Weiss.
Hello, everybody. My name is Kevin Weiss. I also live at 671 Sedgwick. My son's a hard act to follow, but I would like to say I would like to second the motion, pretty much what he said. I think that the property there is invaluable. It is meant to be used for the people, for the whole town. We need to come together, Republican, Democrat, Independent, and make sure that this town is served and the arts remain the home of that park forever. And I wouldn't mind seeing even an amphitheater there, if that is all we can do, someplace where people can perform and enjoy the plays and performances that we've had in the past, and let that continue. I just wanted to lend my voice towards that, and that's about it.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Stephanie Phillips.
Thank you. My name is Stephanie Phillips. I live at 41 Yarwood Street, and I thank you all tonight to hear us and our thoughts. I have basically three topics that I wanted to express to you tonight. The first is the Shakespeare, which I want to add my grief to the mourning of losing Shakespeare. I did go by that evening, watch the flames, watch the smoke, and my heart broke everywhere, as I was one of the council members, former council members, who strongly advocated opening up the theater. I know there's a lot of questions that are around, and we'll have to be patient as we get answers. I want to thank the public safety departments, the fire, the police, and so for doing their best to limit loss and protect the following homes. Their gallant effort should not be left unnoticed, as well as the cooperation from our other departments. In addition to that, I asked the town council and those departments that as they find the results of the investigation from the town and of the state, that they release that so that we can understand what happened and maybe look at what we could do the next time to protect some of our other treasures. And that's something that as a town, we really, I hope, will use this as a wake-up call to protect our treasures that we so beautifully have. The other thing that I want to do is to also comment on the shooting on Regency. It's concerning. I know the police are looking at it. It's the second shooting that we had. I know it doesn't sound a lot, but as a town that historically hasn't really had many in the way of shootings, I just hope that we can support the police, or as a town council, you could look at and ask the questions, what do they need? What can we do? What can we do better so that we can limit those kinds of events anywhere? And lastly, I want to ask about the splash park. I just learned that there is a consideration to combining the splash park at Juliet Low along with the picnic. We've been working on this project for many of years. It was previously planned from the neighborhood to have the splash park next to Johnson. There's an area already designated and designed for it. We went through a formal planning effort to get plans and designs drawn up that many of you have seen. And then on Juliet Low, we had the money also put aside to make it a full picnic area with a small pavilion, and it could be rentable and actually generate some income, but be used by the neighborhood. That space is not big enough to accommodate everything without losing some of the essence of the splash park. So we are working with our legislators to, if there's an issue with money, to see if we can get more money. But I'm asking the town council to help us and the public get involved so that we could at least share our thoughts with you as to how this could best serve the public. And I know many of you are on Parks and Recs and Building Needs. We would like to be part of that process to be able to shape that so the whole town benefits from that. I thank you very much.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Sonia Devitt.
I'm Sonia Devitt, 545 Hilltop Drive in Stratford. And I, too, am, along with the rest of the town, in mourning because of the destruction of the Shakespeare Theater. I've been one of those who has certainly hoped and supported as many efforts as possible to have gotten it reorganized and refurbished and up and running. And I feel, I can't tell you how, what a sense of loss and momentarily lack of hope about what that represented. But it has happened. And now we need to go forward. And I know that at this point, at least I'm expecting, that there will be a whole lot of developers, opportunists, et cetera, saying, oh my God, what a beautiful piece of property, what I could do to develop that, et cetera. And I know with our taxes that we're looking to increase the economic base of the town so that we can lower the tax rate. I would urge that we not jump hastily, that we look carefully at the opportunities and possibilities that could be done there. The Shakespeare Theater stood as a beacon and an emblem of the town and was recognized far beyond Stratford and beyond Connecticut. And I've been part of the Stratfords of the World group, and let me tell you, in Stratford-upon-Avon, they know Stratford, Connecticut because of the Shakespeare Theater and because of our connections there. So I would urge the mayor, the council put together at least one committee that has broad-ranging exploratory authority to look at what could be done there from many perspectives, not just how can we generate revenue from the town, not how can we make this an economic engine for the town, but what can we do to make this continue to be an emblem of Stratford, beyond Stratford, and a uniting force within Stratford. So, and that's going to take from a lot of point of view, the arts, from taxes to arts to everything else. And I think this is an opportunity, devastating as it is, we should use this as an opportunity to develop something wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Gerald Gray.
Good evening. I'm Gerald Gray, 29 Shoreline Drive, Stratford. I share with all of the citizens of Stratford the deep pain of losing Shakespeare Theater, but I would like to present the other side, a darker view. So our beloved Shakespeare Theater has been burnt down. What a surprise. Of course, the only surprise is why this wasn't done sooner. Let's not forget the burning down of the Pleasure Beach Bridge, and not to ignore the countless multitude of horrific transgressions and contraventions that give definition to it's how things are done in Stratford. After all, this is a town where you can start a business from scratch, work over 40 decades at 60 to 80-hour, 7-day work weeks, and building it and earning from it a vast multi-million-dollar valued body of assets. And then town of Stratford predators can successfully collude and conspire and collaborate to steal all of your civil rights from you, and through the conspiratorial actions of town of Stratford probate judge, town of Stratford attorneys, town of Stratford employees, town of Stratford senior center staff, town of Stratford political figures and politicos seated on the mayor's commissions and boards can sentence this targeted prey into solitary confinement captivity in the house of a mother beating disowned son so as to steal and pocket an entire $33 million valued body of assets. This town has convinced me and many others that it is a pool of corruption, from the actions of municipal predation being perpetrated upon targeted prey like my mother, Dolores Gray, and me, to the targeting of elderly and poor in fabricated blight liens of tens of thousands of dollars, so that the Milford law firm of Bircham and Moses, as is owned by Stratford Politico Joe Kubik, can show up every Monday in Bridgeport's foreclosure property matters court and put more of the town's prey out on the street homeless. The great hypocrisy is that Bircham Moses is the counsel for the Bethel Homeless Center Corporation in Milford, a corporation ostensibly operating to help the homeless. It goes on and on. Yes, this is how things are done in town of Stratford. Let's see what happens to that property now that our beloved Shakespeare Theater is finally gone. Thank you.
Thank you. Our last speaker is Walter P. Rimkunis.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, my name is Walter P. Rimkunis, reside at 425 2nd Avenue, Lordship, Stratford, Connecticut. Well, I see that our ex-mayor got his wish. If you recall, a while back when he was in office, one of the things he wanted to do was knock down the Shakespeare Theater and build condos over there. I hope people with better minds think about that property. That property should, I don't know the deed on it, but that property should be deeded as a park area for the town of Stratford, with prosperity of prospects of building and rebuilding a new maybe not big like our old Shakespeare, but something along those lines. We're needed here in Stratford. It is something that a lot of people worship, because my wife and I, we both used to spend our Saturday afternoon mornings over there working on that property. I cleaned that lobby. I put the new ceiling in, repaired doors and everything for that lobby, and it was in good shape. I helped in the main part of the theater too, with Catalino and Ed and those boys. We did a lot of work, and it was supposed to be good. Before I got sick, a little over 2 years ago, there was a committee, Stratford Shakespeare Group. I used to come and listen to it, and they were supposedly, and I see the fence there, I was under the impression that the committee there hired somebody to, one, clean up the inside of the theater that us lay people could not do. Number two was secure the building, doors, and any other access for people and animals. I am under the impression that it wasn't didn't follow through on it because of money angles. The money is there. There's over $9,000, $90,000 or more that was supposed to be used. I don't know what. That should be used for redevelopment of Shakespeare. I'll just break off for a second. Last month I was here. I know my time's running out, but you got a lot of time. It's not 8 o'clock yet, so you don't have to rush. I know you want to go into your nice council chambers over there, not your lounge.
No worries, Mr. Rumpers.
I know. I'm just letting people know now you have a nice lounge over there with cookies and candies, and it's nice. More power to you. But let's get back. I asked several questions last time I was here. Guess what? I heard from nobody. Nothing. I do not have a computer, so it's a little hard. I'm back with the slide rules, not computers. But it's still, the U.S. Postal Service works good. It costs you 50 cents a little letter, maybe a little more. I paid my taxes. You could send me a letter on the answer to those, on it. But once again, back to Shakespeare should be for all the people here in town, not for some high-class real estate agents, builders, or whatever, with the ideas of another 132-room apartment, hotel over there. It's not the way it's supposed to be. That should be for all of us to enjoy that property for all the people here in Stratford. Shakespeare Theater should continue on. Thank you very much.
Before I close, did Mitzi and Tezo arrive?
I don't always agree with Walt, but I think it should be rebuilt. But anyway, Mitzi and Tezo, 367 Windsor Avenue. I have a couple specific questions because when our council passed the contract with the people that were supposed to secure, clean up, etc., Shakespeare, I asked several questions about fire because I was concerned. And I was told that they're going to put enough electricity in there to power a fire alarm, which would go directly to our firehouse. Number one, I wonder, was it ever done? And if it was it tested? Secondly, I asked about a sprinkler system. I was told there was not a water sprinkler system. I didn't quite understand what it was that was floated out, but they had some sort of system that did suppress the fires. The third question I've got is about insurance. I was told, or we were told when we were on council, that the town has a $1 million deductible, so to speak. The town has to meet $1 million. Most of the insurance went to people who were suing the town for one reason or another. The question I have, are our town buildings insured? Is this building insured? Are the high schools and the grammar schools and the junior highs insured? And was Shakespeare insured? I'd like an answer to that, if somebody could find it out for me, because I'm sure that building, after you take the $1 million deductible, was worth a heck of a lot more than that. I wish I brought it in with me. Milford, last week, I think it was, or maybe the week before, had a thing in the paper. Their economic development person was saying they're going to bring people to Milford as a tourist stop. They had beaches. They have a downtown you can walk in. She couldn't name anything else that you would really want to go there for. We had Shakespeare Theater. That was one of 3 in the entire United States, that building. And I think we should look to be rebuilding it, especially if there's insurance money covering it. Thank you.
Thank you. That closes the public forum session of the meeting at 7:18 p.m. The council meeting will start promptly at 8 p.m. Thank you.